Well, what's going on, hustlers? Welcome to the Hustle Sports Fantasy Podcast. It's the basketball edition. We going into week 5 of the basketball fantasy season. We bringing y'all the updated news or updated players, top performers, waiver gems, risky plays, our hustlers energy lock pick of the week. Uh, whether you're cruising, you got a good start to the season, or you struggling right now, we can get y'all them details. My name T. Will. I'm joined by my co-host Fantasy Ray Ray. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Watching these games, keeping up with these players, winning these fantasy leagues. That's all. How you doing?
Get everything good. I'm trying to get on the same wave. Look like I might drop the 0-2 in that basketball league, though. It's looking a little tough. I got a squad though, but I don't understand. Fantasy weird like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, so before we jump off into the episode, I want to make sure y'all follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at the Hustle Sports Network, and on X at the Hustle Sports Net. Make sure y'all drop y'all comments, y'all questions about y'all lineups so we can help y'all get straight for that season. So let's go and get it started. So we're going to jump into this top performers from week 4 at the guard position. Shea Gilgis Alexander from OKC. He averaging 65.3 fantasy points over the last 7 days. James Harden, he chopped my miles up the other night. I think he had 39 in that game. Friday night, he averaging 64 fantasy points over the last 7. And then Luka Doncic averaging 55 over the last 7 days, that is. So them the top performers at the guard positions. Uh, at the forwards, those guys at the guards, they usually staples, but at the forward, another staple, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 57 fantasy points over the last 7. Jalen Johnson, 67 fantasy points over the last 7 days. So I'm gonna come to you with this one. Are you buying or fading on Jalen Johnson?
I'm buying Jalen Johnson. He's ranked 8th at the position in fantasy basketball in ESPN leagues. He's averaging 48.6 fantasy points per. And I think, before last year, he sustained the injury last year that kept him out all year. But there was a lot of hype around him going into last year, and I think now he's back, he's healthy, and you're starting to see what Atlanta kind of been wanting from him to be that co-star with Trey Young. So I'm buying Jalen Johnson.
Yes, sir. He looking good. So another guy, Scotty Barnes, he going crazy. He on a burner right now. He averaged 53 fantasy points over the last 7 days. You buying or fading on Scotty?
I'm buying Scotty.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is sitting as the number one small forward in fantasy basketball, ESPN leagues. He averaging 48.1 fantasy points a game. He's looking like that lottery pick that Toronto drafted. He a problem. We knew when he got drafted, he did everything. He's been doing that since he's been in the league. Now they got a loaded team, and he can just really do him: rebound, score, block, steal, get assists. I mean, just everything. He everywhere. So I'm buying Scotty.
Hey, he filling up the sheet too. I think I saw he averaging like 19, 10, and 7 right now. So he hooping.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's a good hooping. Yeah, so that wrap up the forwards. It was Giannis, Jalen Johnson, and Scotty Barnes. For the centers, we got Nikola Jokic, 81 fantasy points over the last 7. I think he had 99 one night. Yeah, you got a guy getting that. You you better
insane.
win your matchup. Oh, I
Yeah.
hope you win your matchup because fantasy can go against you when one guy killing like that.
Yeah, I done had whole days with my lineup didn't get 99. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Victor Wembanyama, another staple, 67.3 over the last 7. This one was a shock to me. Like, I know he good. I know he can hoop, but I was kind of surprised to see he was one of the top centers over the last 7. Kaleo Ware, 43.7 fantasy points over the last 7 days. So, I want to ask you, are you buying or fading on Ware?
I think it's Khalil Ware. I'm buying Khalil. He tough. He can shoot the three. He play with a lot of energy. He a heck of a shot blocker. He came in a little raw, but they liked him right away in Miami. And I'm buying him, man. If you watch him play, super athletic, fluid, can do everything. I think the sky the limit for that young man.
Yeah. All right, cool. So who's some of the top performers you got?
Some of the top performers I had, no surprise here. Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
The last 7 days, he's a second ranked guard over that span. 227 total fantasy points. He's averaging 57 and a half fantasy points a game. So he just cooking, doing his thing. One of my favorite players right now, as they say on 2K, Kate Cunningham. Uh, with 212 over the last 7. He's third out of all guards over that span. He's averaging 51 fantasy points a game. And then my dog, biggest bully at the forward spot, got him on my roster, Mr. Julius Randle, with 187 fantasy points over the last 7 days. Second out of the forwards, averaging 48.5. Man, Randall been cooking. He been on the
Yeah,
heater.
yeah,
And really all these guys that I picked as top performers, they play the same way. All of them got that dog in them. And I
yeah.
love players that got that dog in them that if you don't come to play that day, it's gonna be a long day for you.
It's gonna be a long day. Yeah, I got Maxi though, so he been cooking on my squad. So I'm definitely proud to have him be a manager of him. Uh,
I
Kay
got Cooper
Cunningham.
Flag for
Yeah, hey, I like Cooper. I just don't know if he Maxi ready yet. You know what I mean?
him. Nah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he ready to be traded for Maxi. But Randall and Cunningham, like we said on the last episode, though, Cunningham got that old school flair. He ready to come kill. And Randall been doing big things since he been in my Minnesota. He actually been doing
Mhm.
big things for a minute now, though. Honestly, I think that breakout year in New Orleans. Ever since then, he been one of the main guys in the league for sure.
Yeah, he just like that.
Yeah, he's just like that. So yeah, that was the top performers from week 4 that we had. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tap in, let us know who y'all saw, who y'all like that was a top performer in the league from week 4. So we're gonna end with that. We're gonna move it to the waiver wire scoop. For the first part of the segment, we're gonna identify players under 50% rosters, like sleeper picks for y'all. I'm gonna jump in there. My first sleeper pick is a big from Charlotte, Musa Diabate, 27.7 fantasy points. Play with Charlotte. He was coded as a center or a power forward, so you could play him either one. He only 19% roster, average 11, 10, a steal, and a block over the last 7 days, and he getting 30 minutes a night. So, you know what I'm saying? He getting a lot of PT. He able to stuff the sheet. So he doing his thing. So that's definitely a good sleeper for y'all if y'all need some help on that front court.
You
All
waiting
right.
on, you waiting on me to add to him? Um, that's my fault. I thought you was gonna keep going into the rest of your sleeper picks. Um, Diabate, he a hooper, man. He played with a lot of energy. That's kind of how I always viewed him, as a high energy guy. That's gonna go out there and just hustle his way to double digit points, double digit rebounds. He gonna compete on defense. And really, that's those players are kind of fantasy gold. Those
Mm-hmm.
players that you don't need them to go out there and drop 30, but they're gonna do some of everything, and those points add up.
Yeah. Yeah, I streamed them this week, so I definitely benefited from some of that energy. So, yeah, that's my guy. That's my first sleeper pick. Who your first sleeper performer?
I got Jake LaRavia. What a steal for LA. He's number 12 at the forward spot. He's averaging 23.9 fantasy points per game, and he's only rostered at 19.3%. And he hooping, he playing his role, he knocking down shots, he handling the ball, he doing a lot of things for LA. So I think this is a guy that, you know, season long, you probably can't hold him. But if you need to get somebody in there for streaming purposes, he's a great sleeper pick.
I like that, especially with King James, LeBron James being out. Uh,
You
yeah.
don't know who King James is. You probably don't need to be watching a basketball podcast.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. There's only one king I recognize. I said that before. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So LeBron James. Uh, But yeah, I did see some news though with LeBron's actually on the way back. They say he had a practice where he looked good and he ain't have any, issues, no setback. So
Mhm.
Laravia might be a good streamer for this week coming up to stay monitoring that LeBron situation. So that's a good sleeper. Well, so who your next sleeper?
My next sleeper, I got to go to the land. I got to go to Cleveland, to the Cavaliers, where I'm a pick my next sleeper being Jalen Tyson. Jalen Tyson, second year player, kind of do everything. He handled the ball, came in as a primary a scorer, primarily a scorer, but really can do it all. He play hard, got a lot of energy. He's ranked number 12 at the guard position. He's averaging 26.8. So you probably can hold a player like that, averaging 26.8, and he's only rostered in 6.8% of leagues. He's averaging 11 points a game, four rebounds, 2 assists. And I like Tyson. Tyson gonna play a role for Cleveland all year. They're gonna be in some competitive games, and I think as the season go on, he's just gonna carve out a bigger and bigger role.
Yeah. It's funny you picked Jalen Tyson though, because you know he was going to be my second sleeper pick at the guard position. It was him and Max Christie. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I went with the math, but yeah, I looked at Jalen Tyson, broke his numbers down, watched some of his highlights. I like him. He looked
Yeah, we,
good.
we got to find a way to squeeze some calves on here every episode. So
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah. So instead of the Cav, I went with the Mav and Max Christie for my second sleeper, 25.8 fantasy points. He rostered in 13% leagues, averaged 12, 6, 3 assists. He even getting 1.7 blocks. And it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? He don't look that big. He look like he might be about 6'4", 6'5". I don't know what his official height listing is. I like Christie though. He playing 34 minutes a game. Like he a gamer. Like this a guy you want on your team. So that was my second sleeper performer that you can pick up. That's available in most leagues.
yeah, he tough. He tough. He flashed last year.
He did.
So yeah, he looked like a player, man. That if he can get consistent time, he can be a real good player.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can score, got good size, and a dog on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he definitely a guy that if he available in your league and you need to stream, he can have a good night any night.
He was the bright spot of that Luca travesty. Uh, so yeah, so
What called it a
he
travesty?
it was like Dirk said, you know, it don't make sense. They should have fired Nico in the summer. But that's neither here nor there. I can go out, like I say, I can complain about the Mavs anytime.
You
But
got
yeah, so
Max Christie did.
hey, we got Max Christie out the deal. So yeah, with Max with that with with that revelation, with Max Christie coming out the deal, he a good pickup because he getting major minutes for the Mavs though. So he definitely contributed. Who your
Yeah.
third sleeper?
Um, Jock Landale. Jock Landale.
Mm,
I thought when he went to Indiana, he might do something. And he playing well. He's 23 at the position, ranked 23rd at the position, averaging 22.4. He's only 4% roster. So if you got injuries, like I'm an Embiid manager. You got him. I got Porzingis too. If you got them in and out of the lineup, and you just need to get some points on the board that week, look at Jock Landale. He's another one. Good size on him. Play hard. Any given night, he can go for double-digit rebounds and points. So I like that. I think he might be carving out a bigger role.
yeah. And the Pacers dealing with a lot of injuries too, so it's definitely some minutes opening up for him.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for is opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that's a good scoop, a good streamer for the week 5. I didn't know you was an Embiid manager. I was thinking about who had Embiid in our league. Cause this my guy was Andre Drummond.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah. We might have to do a little deal or something.
Yeah, he was.
I might have to
Yeah,
handcuff and be.
oh, for sure. Yeah, he was my sleeper performer. He averaged 25 fantasy points. He about 11% rostered. He averaging 14, 6, 3.3, still getting a steal and a block. He always done that though, getting 26 minutes a game. Opportunity to always be there as long as he in Philly though, because Embiid in and out the lineup. So yeah, that was my sleeper pick. So it's funny you brought up Embiid, and then hey, that there you
Yeah,
go.
he and what's crazy is because Embiid, they're not really trying to play him in back to backs and stuff like that. You're actually getting a lot of starts out of Drummond, so that's actually a
Hmm.
great pick to have, regardless.
Yeah.
Because he's not only gonna play good minutes, they can keep Embiid's minutes down, but he's gonna get a lot of starts too.
Hmm. Yeah, good points. Good points. Uh, so I'm finna swing it back to you. So now we're going into the waiver wire scoop. Some people that's in the waiver that may or may not be a sleeper. They still could be a sleeper, but they in the they on the waiver wire in most leagues. Who's your first pick for the waiver wire scoop?
I'm on the phone with T Will, but I'm on the pod with T Will, but I like guys named Terrence. Terrence man, is my pick. He's ranked 24th. He's averaging 22.9. He's only rostered in 4.7% of leagues, averaging right around 10 points a game. But he's been starting most of their games for the Nets. So I think, if you just need a pinch, like I said, if you're streaming wise, you need a guy in there that could possibly go from anywhere to 10 to 20 points a night. And they're gonna do a little bit of getting assists, get some steals, maybe a few rebounds. I like Terrence Mann as a waiver scoop. That's my first pick. Who you got as yours?
Hey, I wanted to speak on T Man though.
Oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I always wondered why he couldn't get on the floor more in LA. Obviously, because they always had a lot of guards and a lot of wings, so it was
Yeah,
colluded. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I like him. He always played hard. Had some nice. He always got good minutes. Played good D. He could do a little bit of everything. So yeah, that's a good waiver wire scoop if he available in y'all league. For me, I got Dylan Harper. I know you drafted him.
yeah.
I remember we was on the stream. I was like, "Yeah, you better get him then," because he was like, I think you got him pretty late, so he was definitely good talent for how late you got him. He only 32% roster now. I know he injured. He projected to come back Tuesday. Before the injury, 24 minutes a game, 14 points a game, 4 assists, 4 ribs. And he got 3 weeks scheduled in week 5. I mean, 3 weeks, 3 games scheduled in week 5. So you might be able to hold on to him for a couple days, stream him, whatever you need to do for your lineup. So that was my guy, Dylan Harper.
Man, I love Dylan Harper coming into the draft. I like the fit, especially when Fox was out early. I'm like, man, he gonna come in and do his thing, probably force some minutes. I ended up having to replace him. I was in one of the positions where I needed you bad, big dog. I needed about 50. So, he could, so I had to swap him out for somebody else, but I still like him. Super. I mean, he was a lottery pick, a lot of potential, good size, good talent. San Antonio loaded. But I definitely think, with Fox coming off an injury, they don't really want to keep him injured. He gonna have a role, especially as the season goes on. They're gonna have opportunities where just having Wimby on the court with Fox, with Castle, they're gonna put some people up, and he gonna
Hmm.
have a lot of chance, a lot of time to play. So
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely think he a guard that you should keep an eye on, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, he hurt right now, but he projected to come back Tuesday. So
Hmm.
make sure y'all keep watching on that. I'm gonna go and jump in here for my second waiver wide scoop, and he just got. I know he rostered in a lot of ESPN leagues, but he just became available in our league, and that's Kelly Oubre, uh,
Hmm.
playing 35 minutes a game, 17 a game, like 6 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Getting a couple assists, and he getting almost 2 steals a game. So that was my guy. I always been an Oubre fan, though. Even when he was here in Charlotte, no matter where he played, Phoenix, wherever he bounced to, I always thought Oubre was really good. Thought he could have been at least a centerpiece, not a centerpiece like you build around him, but like at least somebody who could be on a roster for a while. I know he's been in Philly for a little minute though, so he always been a hooper to me.
Yeah, Oubre is a hooper, man. I wanted him in Cleveland when he was a free agent before he went to Philly. We needed a small forward at that time, and he always showed that he above average player.
Hmm.
Everywhere they get him for next to nothing, and then he come in there and outperform whatever they paying him. So I like that pick a lot, man. If Oubre out there, get him on your squad because he could definitely go on a heater and have some great games for you, possibly swing some of your weeks, some of your matchups.
And just in case I didn't say this, he is 67% rostered in ESPN leagues, so he available in about 33% leagues. So he might be
So
available.
still a chance.
There's still a chance. Yeah. So who your second waiver wire scoop?
I gotta go down to Dallas, man. D Town Boogie.
All right.
I gotta roll with Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall, ranked 27th at the position, averaging 24 fantasy points a game, and he's only out rostered in 15% of leagues. And a few games ago, about 5 or 6 games ago, he had 59 fantasy points. So now you ain't gonna get 59 fantasy points every week out of Nigel Marshall, but I think if you just pay attention to how his role is and how he been coming along, he kind of got the green light. They're not restricting him being able to get shots up. He's always been a hard nosed defensive guy, and plays really hard. So I like Nigel Marshall. I've been staring at him for a minute on the waivers, trying to see if I could possibly make some room for him on my squad. So that's my second waiver scoop.
He been one of my favorite players on the map since he showed up. Now I know after we made the finals run, people would, heard about Derrick Jones Jr., which he did play an important part of that run. But Najee Marshall, he can do a little bit of everything. He can handle the ball. He a decent passer. He can shoot. He can go to the cup. He can do a little bit of everything. So I do like that. He got a nice game.
He's a
Yeah,
good player.
he a good player. He a good player. So yeah, that's a good pick. Najee Marshall was your second pick. So to your last point, or to your last pick, who's your last waiver wire scoop?
And I think I mentioned him on the last episode, but if you ain't hear me or you ain't thinking about it, man, go get Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart is averaging 27.5 fantasy points per, and we just talked about it. At this point in the game, it's hard to get somebody who averaging 30 fantasy
Hmm.
points or more. That's if they averaging close to that, they're probably not available. But believe
Yeah,
it or not, Isaiah Stewart is only rostered in 15% of leagues. So you probably got somebody on your bench, rather it's the name or something like that that's kind of making you keep that player. Add Isaiah Stewart. He playing bully ball in Detroit. He got a for sure role. He gonna be out there every night doing the dirty work at running up them stats.
that's a good pick. Isaiah Stewart, he doing his thing up there in Detroit. So make sure y'all see. I mean, he's 15% roster, like Ray Ray said. So he available in most leagues, most ESPN leagues out there. So make sure y'all tap in or check to see if Isaiah Stewart available in your league to see if you can scoop him up. So that'll wrap up the waiver wire scoop situation or the segment of the show. We're gonna move it to this cooking or cooling. Uh, so I'm gonna come back to you. Who you cooking on?
Somebody else I drafted and I had to put back. I went super young, and now you're starting to see him percolate a little bit. I like Ace Bailey. I think Ace Bailey been cooking. He's averaging 25 fantasy points a game over his last 4 games. Now he's rostered in 35% of leagues, so I wasn't the only person that kind of believed in him coming in, but it looked like now he's been starting. He's getting the opportunity to kind of figure it out, get to play his game. I wouldn't be shocked if he can maintain this pace between his 25 and 30 points a game, fantasy points a game going forward. So he cooking right now.
All right, who and that who else you got cooking? That's it.
No, no, I got a couple players. So I got a big DeAndre Ayton. Andre Ayton was cooking this week. He's averaging 47 fantasy points over the last 2 games. Now he is rostered in 76% of leagues, but he might be figuring it out in LA. I know it's been a roller coaster if you manage DeAndre Ayton, but if he can get to a point to where this is who he is, 20-10, it'll be a huge boost for the Lakers. And
Yeah, I
then
made it.
I'll go
I was just gonna say to that point, I managed DeAndre Ayton, and yes, it has been a roller coaster. Uh,
ahead.
nah, he is. It is more good than bad though, more highs than lows. It's funny though, if I include him in a trade package, don't nobody want him. But you look at the
Send me
stat
one.
sheet. Oh, yeah, you ain't got, I don't know if you got what I'm looking for. Yeah,
What about that
yeah.
Cooper flag deal?
Oh, for Aiden straight up.
I don't know about straight up, but let's
Oh,
talk about it
see,
after the
see.
pod.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll see if a deal get done for Cooper Flag and Aiden. We'll see. But yeah, so yeah, he definitely cooking. So who's your last player?
Miles Bridges.
Mm,
Miles Bridges averaging 43 fantasy points over his last 4 games. And we know he a hooper.
yeah.
We know he get buckets. We know he can play. But 43 fantasy points a game on a team where there's more than one person cooking. I think that's I couldn't pass up the opportunity to throw him in here with the way he's been playing.
I saw they benched LaMelo the other night in was it overtime against I think it was against Milwaukee. Uh, so if that's if that's something that's to come, I don't know if it is. I don't know if it meant anything. You know what I'm saying? But if that's something to come, Miles Bridges is definitely gonna have some big opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, had a ball in his hands more.
Yeah, nah, that's some good points. Ace Bailey, the young bull in Utah, I see he hooping. He definitely a good player, a good pick. I know he had some controversy around him in the draft, but he looked like he settled down and he settled in and believing in what they're trying to do, and he doing his thing. So you had Ace Bailey, DeAndre Ayton, and Miles Bridges.
Yep,
All right, cool. So I'm cooking with Harden. He had
even
33, 11.
Jay.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with Harden. He averaged 33, 11, and 9. Actually cooking. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said earlier in the show, he chopped us up Friday night. I thought we was gonna get a win, and every time the Clippers needed a bucket, it was James Harden. And if it wasn't James
Yeah,
Harden, he was going to Zubac. Like he was passing the Zubac. So he was initiating everything. Harden's still a staple in the league this year
yeah.
17. So 33, 11, and 9 on him. Scotty Barnes, my next person. 19, 10, and 7, like I said earlier in the show. Uh, had went on a crazy burn. I think he had what he averaged. He averaged something like what I said, 55, I think, early this week. I forgot at this point, but I think
I'll check it out for you.
yeah, I think it was something crazy though early this for the fantasy points. For the last 7 days at 19, 10, and 7 though. So he was doing this thing. And then Cat, he on a burner. 25, 12, and 4 for the last 7 days. So I'm cooking with them three boys.
So Scotty averaging 48 fantasy points a game.
Over the
Which makes it
season, right?
over the season. He's
Right.
currently the number one small forward right
Yeah.
now. So he cooking something crazy. James Harden averaging 49 fantasy points a game. Now the guard space is super, super competitive. So he currently sitting at 10 right now at the position, but still crazy work. And then Cat averaging 43 fantasy points a game. So, 43 points a game, they balling every single night.
Right.
They doing their thing. So all them players cooking. I agree with that. I wish I had Harden on my team. I didn't expect them to be this lit, but yeah, he balling. All them guys balling.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm cooking with. Harden, Scotty Barnes, and Cat. Who you cooling on?
So I only got 2 guys that's really stood out as cooling to me. The first one is John Morant. He's John Morant. We looked at for a while like a top 5 point guard, but he's currently a fantasy perspective. He's sitting at 17 at the position, averaging 29.3 fantasy points a game, and he's under 20 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I mean, he cooking. I don't know if cook. I mean, cooling is the word. He's freezing.
I
You know,
say Frio.
yeah. You might be able to find a guy on the waivers right now at the guard spot that's playing better than John Morant.
Yeah.
Um, I can't tell you to drop him because he's John Morant, but I mean, sheesh, you just got to live with what he's doing right now. And then the second guy I have is the menace of the league that got punched on the other night by Wemby,
Mm,
Draymond Green. Draymond Green is 15 at the position. He's averaging 23.3 fantasy points per game, and he's averaging 10 or fewer fantasy points in his last 3 out of 4 games. So another guy that's just playing horrible right now. At 23 and 29 fantasy points, I guarantee you, or in Josh's case, under 20 in his last 3 out of 4, and Draymond under 10 or less in his last 3 out of 4, you can definitely find a waiver stream better than those guys. And their temperament is so hot and cold, it make it even harder to trust going forward. So if I could package John to trade, I would do it in a heartbeat because you don't know if he gonna shake back this year. And then Draymond, you probably could cut.
at least with Ja, I think you can have a little hope in him that if he get traded, it could get better, right?
Yeah.
Nah,
Yep.
Draymond might be cooked. He might be cooked. I
Yeah.
saw, man, I saw a potential trade for AD involving Draymond. That was crazy.
Yeah, never happened. Never happened. At this point, you're getting a role player at best. I mean, he's always been a role player, just a superstar version of a role player. But now it's just a role player, and you get all the antics that come with it. So I think a lot of teams, unless you offering something like Kaminga in the deal, I think it's gonna be hard to get off
Yeah.
Draymond.
In his heyday, he was a dog, but at Father Time undefeated. So for
Mhm.
fantasy purposes, you willing to cut bait on Draymond, John Morant. Yeah, you looking to package to trade him, or hope he get traded. Maybe that turn your fortunes around. So that's some good picks for cooling. Who I'm cooling on? I'm cooling on Wendell Carter. 18 fantasy points in the last two in week 4. Uh, he did have a crazy game in the beginning of the week. I think he had 41 in that game, 41 fantasy points. But the last two games, pretty much a nothing burger. Like he's pretty much just out there, just getting cardio, not really doing. Yeah, so it's hard to trust that in fantasy. You know what I'm saying? 18 points, you could, as we've always said, or as you always say, we can find that on the waiver wire any given night.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was my first guy. Isaiah Joe, he fell. He was, he was one of our sleepers from last week. I think OKC starting to get healthy. Their team starting to shape up like how it looked last year. So his role kind of starting to change up a little bit. He dropped to 24 fantasy points in week 4. He averaged 31 in the first 3 weeks. So I'm cooling on Isaiah Joe. Jaren Jackson, he's my last guy I'm cooling on. He's averaging 23 fantasy points over the last 7 days, 4.3 rebounds over the week. Last 7 days, not even getting you 5 boards. So that's just tough. Yeah, I'm cooling on Holland.
So Wendell Carter, I totally get it. And he's all. I mean, that's kind of been who he is.
That's true.
You watch him some games, and you like, man, this dude, like, why don't he have a bigger role? Why don't he play more? And then he disappear. All he want to do is stand out there, try to shoot threes, don't really give
Mm-hmm.
you a bunch of nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
so, he probably a player that you can leave unless you just super banged up and the waivers are dry. You probably could leave him out there. Isaiah Joe, I stared at for a long time. We had him in the on the pod last week. We brought him up, but they just so deep in OKC
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard for me to see Isaiah Joe being able to maintain a consistent role, but he's definitely the type of player that I would monitor in the event that somebody gets hurt. So if they have a guard down or something like that, AJ Mitchell go down, then bow. You got Isaiah Joe that can come in there and fill it up a little bit in his place. But Jaren Jackson, I buy low on Jaren Jackson.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I just think he too good. He's shown us we got multiple seasons of evidence that this is not him. Now he's always kind of struggled with the rebounding, but not 4.3 rebound.
Yeah.
You got guards getting 4.3 rebounds. So
All
I
right.
got to think at some point some coach or somebody's gonna pull him to the side and say, "Hey, bro, you gotta hit the boards." And if he can do that, get off perimeter, hit the boards. He's always been a good defensive player, shot blocker. The scoring is what it is. I would buy low on him while somebody like looking at him with question marks. I think that's a good scoop. I might actually do that tonight.
Hey, so we got a little time. We got a little time. So I gotta ask you: is it time for Memphis to blow it up? And this NBA, not just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Number one, John not a leader. It showed you that time and time again. Like, so as long as he's in that position where he's not a leader, you gotta send him somewhere where they have a good culture and maybe you get a good cultural guy back. One of the things I brought up as a Cavs fan, but I actually think it's a good deal, is sending Darius Garland to Memphis for Ja Morant. You get an all-star guard back that's a good character guy to kind of reset what they doing in Memphis. You get Ja to Cleveland that has a good, positive, good guy, good environment culture that could probably get the best out of him, and you put him on a winning squad. Darius Garland's coming from a winning team and could bring those winning habits to Memphis. So I think Memphis they can easily reset it, but I think keeping what you got is not that ain't it. Jaren Jackson's a really good player. He's still young and he's not a problem guy, so I probably would try to hold on to him. I think the thing with Jaren Jackson, if I'm being honest, he's a center. That's the
Mhm.
problem. 6'11", 260. Put him at center. He got no
Yeah.
choice but to rebound when he playing center.
Right.
But when you got Edie and all these other guys you trying to put out there, you allow him to kind of float on the perimeter, he end up with 4 or 5 rebounds a game. So I would probably move Ja ASAP, and try to get a player back, even if the player is not as good. You know what I mean? That's something that I probably look to do. You got to get a culture reset in Memphis. Um, and really, I wouldn't trade Ja for picks. I just think you can still get something for him. If you sent them to Portland, could you get Scoot Henderson and maybe something else? Would they do
Possibly.
Shaden Sharp for John Morant? Maybe you get a pick or another player. But there's ways they could do it to get talent back without taking a huge sacrifice on it. But with them two dudes right now, you either get off both or you get off job. But you gotta look at that because you're going nowhere fast.
So you got to start the rebuild process
What you think?
for Memphis.
hmm
Oh yeah, I mean, it looked like they just don't want to be there. Every time I see them play, they look. Josh starting to have turnovers I never really seen him have. Like it looked like just a lack of concentration. He checked out. Looked like he ready to go. So I agree with the assessment of see if you can try to build around Jaren Jackson and try to cut bait with Jai. It look like Jai ain't clicking with the head coach either. So I don't know how you
Nah.
fix that on the fly in the middle of the season. So yeah, I agree with that. At least move Jai. It's probably time to move Jai. Uh, you know, start that rebuild or at least the retool
Yeah,
process if you
retool.
keep Jaren Jackson. So yeah, that was our cooking or cooling segment. Make sure y'all put in the chat, what I'm saying, who y'all cooking or cooling on. Y'all tap in with us, hashtag Hustle Sports Net, Hustle Sports Fantasy. Either one, yeah, make sure y'all tap in. So we're gonna move it off that segment. We're gonna go into our in the zone lock pick. These are guys that ain't really rostered under 25% in leagues, who can swing your category or swing a week for you if you need to stream them this week. So who you got fantasy, Ray Ray?
So I kind of already brought this player up, but I got him here as my in the zone pick, and it's Jalen Tyson.
Yeah.
Um, Jalen Tyson. Now he's missed a few games recently. He missed the last three, but on November 8th in that game, he dropped 51 fantasy points. You know, if you can get a role player that can come in and get you 30, get you 50, get you 30, which he's kind of been on that trend, that's the kind of player that you want on your roster who could swing a matchup for that given day and over the course of a week as well. So he's a player that I really got my eye on. And he's only rostered in 6.8% of leagues. Once again, he's averaging 26.8 fantasy points. And what I'm noticing is that's slowly climbing upward. He's on an
Mm.
upward trend with his fantasy points. So yeah, I'm locked in on Jalen Tyson. I think, like I said, I think his role is going to continue to grow as the season goes on. Garland's hurt right now. We know they're not playing Lonzo and back to backs. So, and he can play the 1, 2, and the 3. So, yeah, keep your eyes on Jalen Tyson.
I like that. Like I said, I stared at him for a minute. So yeah, I definitely like that one. That's a good in the zone lock pick. So yeah, make sure y'all peep that. Make sure y'all watch for that. See if he can help y'all in y'all week and y'all league. For me, I went with the math. Max Christie. I spoke about him earlier. You know, as I said earlier, 13% roster. He averaging 26 minutes a game. Uh, as long as Cooper flagged the number one option and 80 and Kyrie are still on the team and they not playing, Max Christie could be a floater. Like he could be the number one some nights, number two, number three. It can go. It is a pendulum swing. But because Cooper flags a rookie and he's the one option, Max Christie can be a great option on some nights, especially with the right matchup when they keying in on Cooper. So that's why he's my in the zone lock pick. I just like what he do. I like what he brings to the table. And I like what he do for the Mavs. I feel like he helped them win games or helped them at least be competitive in games. So Max Christie, my in the zone lock pick.
I like that, man. Like I said, he tough. He tough. He one of them players that I thought the Lakers would really try to hold on to. Obviously, you know, when Luke on the table, everything
Yeah,
must go.
yeah,
So, but yeah, man, he a good player. And if they end up shaking things up with the Mavs, he can step into a prime role. So, you know, he might be a guy to kind of just like I said, either you got him on your bench or you monitoring him closely in case you know that opportunity opens up for
yeah, yeah. So in the zone, that's where we find gold before everybody else. So my in the zone pick was Max Christie. Fantasy Ray Ray's in the zone pick was Jalen Tyson out of Cleveland. So make sure y'all watch them. You know, see if they can help y'all if they available in y'all leagues. I believe Jalen Tyson was just under 7% roster. So, you know, he available. You know, Max Christie, 13% roster, they available. So make sure y'all pull that trigger, you know what I'm saying, on some guys who can help y'all in y'all matchup. So that's what we
hold on,
try to.
hold on, hold on. We're not encouraging pulling no triggers. Okay. I just
Oh,
want to put that out there.
okay.
You
Oh,
know,
okay.
we're a family first show,
All
but
right.
but but we get the
Push the
sentiment.
push your button. Make sure you push the button. Push your button. All right. All right.
Here we go with
So
that word.
yeah, yeah. Make sure you push the button on the goal that you need. So we're gonna keep it moving to our hustlers energy lock pick of the week. You know, there's somebody who, stud, signature player who a staple in your lineup. Who's your hustlers energy lock pick for this week?
Gotta go left hand, baby. We gotta go with Julius, young Julius Randle.
Yeah,
You know, like I said, 187 fantasy points over the last 7 days. He's second at that forward spot, 48.5 fantasy points a game. He's averaging 25.6 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. So, I mean, not only is he getting buckets, he's doing everything.
yeah,
He's been my best fantasy player on my roster. I'm definitely locking in with my Hustlers Energy lock pick on Julius Randle. About my biggest untouchable on the squad right now.
Randall is a great fantasy player. Like, what he 25, 10, or about 11, 6 assists. He do that every year, so he a stat stuffer. So that's a great pick. It's a great pick. My Hustlers Energy lock pick of the week is RJ Barrett, third at this position, just under 35
Crazy.
fantasy points per game. I know. Well, and it was crazy to me though, is RJ Barrett in ESPN, he coded as a 2, 3, or a 4. So, it's a lot of flexibility with him that you could put in the lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So you always got somebody you could play with, somebody like RJ Barrett being coded at three positions. He playing 34 minutes a game, 24, 6, 4 assists, 2.5 steals. He in the passing lanes. He's doing a lot.
Hmm.
And he got 4 games scheduled in week 5. He got the Hornets, 76ers, the Wizards, and the Nets. So seemed like a little soft part of the schedule for the Raptors, for Bear to be able to do his thing. So that's my Hustlers Energy lock pick of the week.
I love RJ Barrett, man. You talking about a competitor, a guy that plays super hard. I love RJ. And he over there balling. And with the way the Raptors playing right now, if they keep this up, he might actually make his first All Star game. I know people was kind of down on him when he got traded from the Knicks, saying how much the Knicks won that trade. But you look at what Toronto building. They added a young stud and Brandon Ingram. Scotty playing his part, doing his thing. And then you got RJ Barrett hooping like this. We looked at Indiana kind of rise up last year in the East. We talked about Detroit and how them young boys coming. Pause. And then, but really ain't nobody talk about the Raptors. And the Raptors look like they ain't nothing to play with. So I like that hustler energy lock pick a lot. RJ Beard, he a hooper, he a competitor. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
And to add to that, OG just got hurt the other night. That's one problem that he always had. He always in and out
Yeah,
of the lineup.
for sure.
Yeah. So that was our Hustlers Energy lock pick of the week. I had RJ Barrett, Fantasy Ray had Julius Randle. And y'all already know if you sleep,
Yeah, beat.
all right, so y'all already know how it goes. So we're gonna close it out with our Q&A session. Uh, we got a few questions for you, Fantasy Ray. First up, which which rookie's fantasy production feels most sustainable to you?
Um, I gotta go with the big nipple, baby. Conquer nipple. Averages.
The hold on, hold on. Flag on the play. Technical. Hey, a free throws awarded to the other team. The big who?
The big nipple. Conquer nipple. Yeah. The biggest.
Oh man, yo,
You know.
all right.
He, he out there cooking, man. He out there doing this thing in Charlotte. Looking like he might be a rookie of the year type candidate. Averaging 17 a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 29 fantasy points a game. They kind of look like, man, this guy's solid, filling in for Brandon Miller. I don't know how you put him down when Brandon Miller come back.
Yeah,
You might have to figure something out because the way Con balling, yeah, he looked like it's pretty sustainable to me.
I think he was averaging 25 over the last 7. This points, not fantasy points. He was averaging 25 over this last week. So
Hmm.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So who you think gonna hit a wall? A
Um,
rookie. What rookie you think gonna hit a wall?
I actually think it could be Ace Bailey. Just because he's kind of turning it up right now, but I don't know how good the Jazz really gonna be. It took him a little minute to kind of start to find his groove. I think he's just gonna be a up and down kind of player. It's kind of slight in frame, and his biggest skill set is scoring. And we know with rookies, Scoring is up and down your rookie year, unless you're on the elite end of that, which I think he's shown he got the potential, but he's not on the elite end of scoring just yet. And on top of that, do you do the other things? Because in fantasy, you got to rebound, you got to get the steals, you got to get the assists. And I don't know if the rest of his game is there yet. So I think you're just gonna see some up and down to where by mid season he probably levels off as a mid to low 20s type of player.
I like that. Con Knipple. Uh, Most sustainable. Ace Bailey might hit a wall by mid season. So lead me to my next question. Wemby's still young in his career. You know what I'm saying? We seeing him on a level that we ain't seen him, to this point. Uh, is he the undisputed number one fantasy player? Or will he finish as the undisputed number one fantasy player?
Yes, no doubt about it.
No doubt
Um,
about it.
yeah, he like I said last week, man, he like a 2K player. It's like if I went on right now and created myself on 2K and I maxed out the height and I gave myself every attribute possible.
Yeah.
It almost looked unreal. Dude barely got to jump to dunk. He can dribble like a guard. He can shoot it. Um, I mean, I don't see there's no way. I mean, outside of injury, there's no way to stop him. And because his skill set is so high, the production is just gonna be so massive to where maybe Jokic is the guy that you could say is the undisputed number one player. But if I had to do it all over again right now, I'm probably taking Wemby.
All right. So he gonna finish undisputed. That's a tough one. But the blocks, I think, kind of separate him. You know,
Because he can get
I
10 of them in a game.
yeah, I do think that take him to another level. We'll see though. We'll see. It's still early in the season. Like I said, we're going into week 5, so we'll check back over the course of the year to see if Wemby finished that way. So my next question, Shaden Sharp. He looking good this year. He look like he playing better. Uh, is this the breakout season for the fantasy year?
Um, I think so. I mean, last year he scored the ball pretty well. He's averaging right at 20 points a game, and then he's averaging 29.8 fantasy points a game. One of the things in Portland is, with Scoot Henderson out, they kind of lack some playmaking behind Drew Holiday. And he didn't try to fill that a little bit, but I think once Scoot is back and healthy, and now you got that consistent other playmaker to where he can make things a little more easier, take some duties off of Shaden Sharp, you might
Mm-hmm.
actually see him play a little better. So yeah, I think it's a breakout year for Shaden Sharp for sure.
All right. All right, we're gonna keep that. See if we see if he finished that way. He definitely off to a good start, so we're gonna definitely keep our attention on Shay Sharp over the course of the year for fantasy purposes. Uh, who's your biggest drop candidate at this point?
My biggest drop candidate at this point, um, honestly, I hate to say this because I don't know if this player is truly a droppable player, but probably Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller just as we know the talent there. We know he cold, but we really ain't got to see the full extension of his game because he can never play. He like the 20-year-old version of Paul George. So it's like at this point in the year, like you might be starting out 0-1, you might be starting off 0-2. Man, you need somebody you can play in your lineup. So if you holding on to Brandon Miller, praying, that you get the boost when he come back, it might just be time to cut bait and go ahead and find you another solution that could fill that void, like a Con Knipple, um, and get it going.
That was his biggest player comp too when he was coming out was Paul George.
Yeah,
We
same
just did.
bodies.
We just didn't realize the player comes in more ways than one.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
in good news though, podcast P did practice here. I think today.
Okay,
So,
Pandemic P.
yeah, so he might be on the way back. He might be
Okay.
able. He might be somebody you can scoop if you need to stream something.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. So, last question of the night: who your player you watching for Week 5?
All right. I don't know how to say his last name. They don't even say his last name in Atlanta. But I'm gonna go with Veet.
Who?
Veet Krejciki. I don't know how
Cre-
you say that. But Veet been balling. Veet averaging 22.7 fantasy points a game, but in his last 3 games, he's had 48, 27, and 51. So he can shoot the ball, he can handle the ball. He's a big guard. So I like Veet. I'm watching Veet. If he can kind of keep this going, he's gonna be on my roster.
All right. I still ain't hear the name, but hopefully when y'all watching this, y'all can pick it out. Make sure
You
y'all
didn't
check
you didn't hear Veet?
Veet. Veet.
Yeah, VIT.
Okay. Veet.
Yeah, Beat
Veet. All right.
BIT.
All right.
Yeah, foreign player
Veet.
for Atlanta. Play for the Hawks guard.
All right. Well, you can go search for them by team on the fantasy. Veets.
That
VIT. That's
that look, I'm dropping gems for y'all. Go
hey.
find Beat, keep an eye on them, and yeah, yeah. I tried to go to YouTube, watch the videos, figure out how to say his name. They don't even call him by his last name on the broad because the team don't. They just call him Beat.
All right. Well, Veet. Hey, and if you don't get beat, you may be beat. So, so that was the
Hey, that's
last.
nice. That's nice.
So that was the last question of the night. So we appreciate y'all tapping in with us. And hey, drop y'all teams, y'all questions, y'all comments on in the live chat on X. We hit y'all back with any answers we have to help y'all win y'all matchups in any given week. Make sure y'all follow us on X at the Hustle Sports Net, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at the Hustle Sports Network. And then just know you sleep.
You beat.
Hey, there it is. That's a wrap on the basketball episode. We appreciate y'all hustlers tapping in. Y'all have a good week.